live in the middle of our store. We couldn't find a better place to do the live, so we thought, why not just, you know, take over the whole store, and we'll do it right here. So our live today is all about holidays and tablescapes and taking, you know, when you have all this family coming over, obviously if you don't have a table big enough, you're using kind of a lot of smaller tables. And doing tablescapes is something that's making it special, and I feel like we've rocked it today. So stay tuned for all the goodies that are going to show up on camera. Behind me, we did this adorable kids table. Miss Kathy will walk you through all of the decor. But I painted this, the top was pretty beat up. So the top originally looked like this right here. And then we turned it into this right here. So we used Layla's Mint, which is the perfect, I mean, obviously it's not close to this, but it's a perfect green for what we were going for in on this table. And now look at, so y'all know what those 50s tables were kind of like. So it's that Formica, plasticky, laminate, yucky. I mean, it was great at the time. I think it was like, well, my gosh, this is the next new thing, I think, is what happened. But super shiny, very slick, so not wood. But I've told you multiple times that you can use Miss Mustard Seeds Milk Paint on so many different surfaces. So when we saw this table, Miss Kathy's like, well, we should definitely paint that. And we did.
Yeah, it had terrible wear marks.
It did. So somebody must have been, I don't know, rubbing their elbows.
Years and years of family love.
Yeah, so the table was pretty beat up. But now it looks awesome. So just keep that in mind when you're yard selling and thrifting and doing all of those things, that you can find these pieces. And even though the top or something's, you know, a little worn or messed up, we can definitely take some paint and make it into something current and something you can use. So here we are. We have all of our products here. We are going to use Layla's Mint, and I'm going to show you how fabulous it sticks to this surface. I love this green trim down here, but you know what they did on the table? They painted this white, so I couldn't save it. I'm a little mad about it, if we're being honest. I don't know why they did that. But, so when you're going to do your paint is going to come in this bag. This is Layla's Mint. I've obviously already opened it. And you're going to get this at your local retailer or somewhere online. It's fabulous. Comes in powder form, as you can see right here. We have somebody different behind the camera. Miss Tori is with us.
Hello.
She is amazing. And anytime during this video, if we're doing something and you have some questions, feel free to ask them, and Miss Tori will let me know, and hopefully I can answer it. I don't know, sometimes I can't, sometimes I can't. I don't know, we'll go from there. We're going to measure this out, so it's always even parts of powder to water. So if we do 1 scoop powder, I'm gonna do more than that. I'm gonna put 3 in here. Then we are going to do, come on, Tori, how many waters?
1, 2, 3.
Perfect. When you're using the milk paint, why does it not look blue? Is that not weird?
It is.
Not blue, not green. It doesn't look green. What does it look like on there?
Looks like that.
Looks green on camera.
So weird. We'll grab another bag.
Yeah.
So we do equal parts of powder to water. And since I mentioned this table is super slick and there is absolutely no grip, even sanding it's not going to make a big difference. So what you're going to want to do is use Ultra Grip when we are mixing up the paint. I'm feeling like I dumped what was out of here in this bag, but if we're being honest, I feel like the color isn't the color it should be.
Maybe we put the wrong one out.
Maybe I did, because I do things like that. Okay, so sometimes I cheat Don't tell anybody. And I don't measure out exactly, and maybe that'll turn more green as we go. But I'm just gonna do this just in case. So you always want it to be kind of maybe pancake batter, but a little more, we're making a little bit of a mess, but a little bit more watery than that.
Someone is asking if Ultra Grip is different than a regular bonding agent.
No, bonding agent is what I meant. And you are using bonding agent, not what I just said. Miss Tori will give you a look at the bottle there. It's the white stuff that's in there. So bonding agent goes in a little bit differently than your powder and water. We're going to put that in, and it's always what water and powder are together. So it comes in this, looks a little cloudy. And then we did 3 and 3 technically on the first stuff I mixed. So we're gonna put that in here. And what your bonding agent does is it just helps your paint adhere to the surface. And like I said, the surface that we're painting on is super slick. And if you don't put the bonding agent in it, you're going to run the risk of it chipping off, peeling off, and nobody wants that. So a surface like this, you definitely want to add this in here. You're going to be amazed at how good it covers. And Layla's mint is just kind of this really light green. I'm sure Kathy has some kind of really awesome verbiage. What this green brush is what I use on my pieces. I find that it leaves less of a drag, so that is what I tend to use when I'm doing a project. So normally I would let this sit a little bit, but since we're on camera, we're just gonna go with it. A little bit goes a long way. We don't need a ton of paint on here. And goes on super easy.
And this color only took 2 coats.
Yeah, when I was doing the table, I was a little nervous because Miss Kathy is always rushing me.
I don't know, be ready in time for camera.
And asking me if I'm done yet. Are you done yet? Are you done yet? And I'm like, no, not yet. But it actually only took 2 coats. And as you can see, it covers really well. Is anybody on there with us, Tori? What's everybody doing for the holidays?
Ooh.
Is
Yeah,
everybody ready for the holidays?
That's a no for everybody.
So, whenever I do a table, okay, here's a little tip that I always do anytime I'm doing any type of surface where it's gonna run straight like this at the top of the table. So I normally get it all coated, and then I will go across the whole thing like this and make
I'm going to be behind you.
none of this
Some pictures of the table.
starts and stops, and it makes it look a lot more even. And then like you can see, I've talked about this before on videos, you'll see the pigments kind of go through here sometimes. I see some red. So all you do is keep going over that, and it'll go right into there and you won't even see it. I don't know what this looks like on there for you, but it has covered amazing.
Somebody says, Salute dell'Italia.
Oh, what does that mean?
I think that means hello from Italy.
Aw, that's so nice. I wish I was where you are.
Hi, Italy.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I've already taken a trip to Italy with Miss Mustard Seed and the crew. It was delightful. I love it there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a room, just let me know and we'll hop a plane and come to you. So
Buon Natale, and there's Bob and Natale back there.
there you go. So this is one coat, which looks amazing. But it definitely needs a second coat. Somebody that's just going to distress it if they liked what was underneath there could definitely leave it as just one coat. The other thing I want to point out is the trim here is metal. And this is actually metal too. And that all got painted as well. When I did the table, this trim obviously is super rad. So I distressed that back out of here. But just so you know, the top was Formica, this was metal, and this too. And the paint is amazing and sticks to all of those surfaces. Glass, plastic, obviously wood, all those pieces that were done in the 80s, all of those things you're going to be able to do with the milk paint. So super versatile. Exciting today, the UPS man came and brought us some of the new products that are coming in. So I'm really excited about that. All new packaging, branding. So I got the milk wax in here in white and the gray. So that's super exciting. I can't wait to use them. Just gonna wax everything in sight.
Soon you'll be seeing the whole product line at the store all in that.
Yeah, all in this new branding. So we're really excited about that. I can't wait. We finished this table with the hemp oil. Always my go-to, kind of my favorite. Put that on top of here and wiped it back. So while you guys are going through all of these other tablescapes, this will probably maybe dry. Maybe we'll get a fan. And I might be able to finish up with you and do another coat on here. But super easy to use. Hemp oil looks like this. Sometimes it varies in color, but looks like that and goes on as your top coat. You're always going to need to do something as a top coat so the paint cures. So you're either going to use that hemp oil, use a wax, or you're going to use a top coat. Top coat is what we carry. So keep that in mind when you're doing your projects. The other colors that you're going to see, and I'll kind of go along with Kathy, but we did a table in Mora, and then we also did a table in Ironstone. So those two you will see when we're kind of going around here. So if you have any comments, any questions, Kathy is always super happy to answer all of those. And I will finish up and wrap up with this piece at the end, but I'm gonna turn it over to Kathy so she can tell you all about tablescapes for the holidays and how you're gonna accomplish all this stuff. And for me, Kathy's more, I don't know how I wanna put it. I don't know. She's like into all of those like details and she like takes time and like focuses where like I am all over the place and rushing around, and I have 3 kids, and holy smokes.
Okay, so they wait till 2 o'clock to finish painting the tables, then I do this.
So
I rush too.
See what the problem. Well, it's because of our being unprepared that Kathy has to rush. But anyway, Miss Kathy takes attention to detail. Tablescapes for me, I would call Kathy, and she would come do my tablescape. That's how that would work. So keep in mind, you know, when you're doing all these things, even somebody like me that rushes around and doesn't, you know, seem to have a whole lot of time can accomplish everything that Kathy's going to show you in here. And the kids' table is so sweet. So over to Kathy.
Real quick, somebody asked, Shannon asked, while you're waiting to put the second coat on, what do you do with your brush and the already mixed paint?
I just leave that kind of hang out here.
We've
Fun
got
enough.
enough time.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm in between this, I mean, if you're somebody that like, okay, let's say you just painted this on here, but you're gonna go like send 20 emails, you might want to pop your milk paint in the fridge and put your brush in some kind of plastic. That is what I would suggest. Also cover your milk paint before you put it in the refrigerator. But me, I'm gonna literally watch paint dry and then come back and do it. So me personally, that's normally what we're doing here around the store. We're painting right away as soon as it dries. But if you're going to go do things, definitely cover your brush and cover your milk paint and put that in the fridge. It is milk based, so it will spoil. So keep that in mind. But all the products are, when I say that you can cover it and put it in the fridge, keep in mind it's eco-friendly. It's stuff that you can use in your house. So water-based and water cleanup. So you could wash your brush and, you know, towel dry it and be ready to go when you're ready for that second coat. Kathy is ready to help you decorate.
All right, so I don't know about you, but being at the kids' table was just yesterday for me.
Yeah, Yes, it was.
Yes, it was, because you know, just a kid. But I don't think there's a single person who doesn't share that story of memories of being at the kids' table at holiday events. There's just so much room at the big table with all the grown-ups. Let's make it interesting for the kids. We were basically allocated to a card table in front of the fireplace. And the most memory I have of that is that my cousin Peter always mashed together his corn with his mashed potatoes. So, but this is taking it another step. This is taking a place in your house that's interesting and amping it up. So the question is, what can you do to make it special? Now, take a look at these. All right? These are still on my Christmas tree. And every one of them was on a gift or on a stocking from my grandmother. All right? So this is what we've done. I always got a coloring book. There's a coloring book in there, and there's a keepsake. But little stockings on the back of chairs. Go ahead and make them whimsical. We've got some crayons on the table if the kids want to color while they're distracted and everyone's saying stay at the table. Another thing you could do is just take paper, cover the table and let the kids color. In this case, they have their coloring books. I don't want you to run out and just do everything with paper plates. You've got something that's interesting in your cupboards, bring it out. This is some Franciscan ware that's multicolored, and I just pulled the pink out of it and did this tablescape around it. In the middle of the table, yes?
What do we always say about glassware and things that
Bring them out.
bring them out,
Bring
but
'em out.
also, no, it's not expensive to go to a yard sale, an auction,
Mhm.
anything like that, and pick up this stuff for next to nothing. So when we're doing all of these, sometimes people I think they're elaborate, but realistically, going out and finding this stuff, one, it's super fun, so I feel like everyone should do it. But two, it doesn't have to be expensive. So like put some price tags on, you're making everything special, but it didn't cost a fortune to do it. And back to Kathy. That was like a commercial.
That was.
So in this case, we only had 2 of these chairs. We have some of Miss Mustard seeds on these colors. This is the bayberry, right? No,
No.
boxwood.
Yes.
This is the boxwood on here. I could not. I have a glitch. My brain does that.
She's got something.
Boxwood on these chairs to blend in with these. And this back here is a door cover from the 1960s. Do you remember these? Do you remember my town? Everybody had one of these
the
on the
60s.
door.
I wasn't born yet.
Don't you story.
Okay.
Don't you
I'm
story.
just letting you know. And Tori, my love, she's in her 20s.
No,
She does not
Tori,
remember.
you and I,
No, right.
my
Moving
oldest
on.
is 30.
That just showed how old Kathy was.
All right, so what I've also put at this table are things for the kids to decorate our itty bitty little cake. They don't need a big one. They don't need to go to town. And I have a helper today. Can you go ahead and just start decorating? Like maybe put some marshmallows around the bottom and put some spice candy on the top. And
So
you've
it's
got
just like you're doing a
shakers.
gingerbread house, but with all this stuff. Make it pretty.
And on camera, yes.
Yeah,
And on
so
camera.
an activity at the table is always great. So we'll watch her do that for just a couple minutes and we'll move on to the other table and come back and see what she's done.
Don't be scared. I'm just going to be over your shoulder watching
So as
you.
Jules is decorating, just remember that if you want like a second to eat your own Christmas dinner, doing all these really sweet little things like having them decorate things and putting coloring books and stickers and things like that at their table allows you, I mean, tops 10 minutes to eat your Christmas dinner, but at least you got that 10 minutes.
So Christmas got a little serious as we got older and we got real fancy with how we did our tables. I want to take it back. I want to take it back to bringing memories for the adults. Christmas doesn't have to be serious. So come on over here. We have a tablescape here for 6. And if you look under each of the place settings, we have a vintage Christmas album. And they make the perfect little placemats. And so it's a conversation to go ahead and look and who had what. We've got a little Frank Sinatra Christmas going on over here. And it makes it fun. We've got a great little old-fashioned sled going on, and these two little banks, my grandmother gifted every kid one of these little banks. I still have mine, and I was an only, so I had one bank. I'd go over to a cousin's house. They had 3 kids. They had 3 banks. Well, I have 2 kids, but I deal in vintage. So I found a second one. So my 2 kids will now each get one. And whatever happens with their children is up to them. But look at these little accents that make a party special. Put a little wreath on the back. That takes 2 seconds. And it makes it dressed up and feeling good. Up over here, we have these 3 wreaths. We just took some material and we swagged it. So something that's different in your house that feels festive. Little pops of red and our Christmas tree. And I love this. This is an old letterbox type office piece of furniture, and we've started using it as a way to store our china. Just another repurposed new look, and this is done in typewriter. That's Miss Mustard Seeds Black. All right, so back over to the table.
Did you say what color our server is?
This is schloss.
Yeah.
You know I can't pronounce it.
Schloss. That's why I wanted you to say it.
Schloss.
Schloss.
They said like Ross, but I can't
Like
say
schloss.
schloss.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
I think
Kathy
so.
shouldn't say what
I'm
the
not
deal
gonna
is
say
here.
it.
But anyway, we just painted that and it turned out delightful. It's kind of a
pretty.
tiny buffet.
I love a
Normally,
tiny buffet.
yeah. I mean, normally they're a little bit bigger, but it's super petite.
Great for an apartment.
Yes, I love that. The whole dishes in the letter file, I came over and Kathy just all of a sudden there were dishes in there. I'm like, how ingenious is that? You know, using things like that to store your dishes.
She's doing a whole body shot here.
She is. Hello, please get my sauce.
And in the plus size, we have the black pants and the flannel.
Maybe you could sell for the company.
All right, so when we get back over to this kids' table,
She is busy.
Whoa.
She went for the red and green motif.
Wow.
Oh, she's gonna
Perfect.
squeeze it in
Oh my gosh.
all right, are you willing to mess it up?
Say no.
Do you want to eat it?
Well, yeah.
May I serve you?
Oh God. Oh gosh. Oh, Kathy's making a mess. She really is.
Oh, it's the cupcake.
And
do this?
every kid will be giggling their butts off. Then they can put more sprinkles into their cup. I've made a little mess.
Do you
but
do that at your own house?
I've never done it before. That was my first smush.
Well, it's.
Oh my
it's good.
gosh.
I love it. I would do
You look
that.
like you were a veteran schmusher.
A veteran smusher. That's why we did the tiny cake. But is that not fun or is that not fun?
Yeah, I would be all about that. You did a really good job. My kids would make a complete mess.
Making a mess is half the
Anything
fun.
that makes a kid giggle. I'll tell you, one of my daughter's birthday parties, we did a rock climbing party. Our YMCA had a great rock climbing wall. So I built her birthday cake in front of the kids. I had some of them help. And we took those little brownie bites. We took Rocky Road ice cream. We took M&Ms and fudge toppings and anything you could think of, and we made a mountain. And we just kept scooping the ice cream and building the brownies, and they just had a laugh riot. Anything interactive, a kid is just happy.
A kid and me.
So, are we ready to go down the hall?
Oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm totally ready.
I'm trying not to chew behind the camera.
Yeah, if anybody hears her chewing, please comment.
And we've got a few pieces here that you might notice that were run on this mustard seed site. We have some trophy on these pieces right here. And we're ready for New Year's Eve.
Oh,
Coming
yeah.
So what do you do when you have a very big crowd and you don't want to do formal dining because it's just too many dishes, just too much work?
You cry.
I tell them
You
all to go home.
buffet it. And we have a great Christmas idea for you. Campfire Christmas.
I didn't see this yet, so I'm excited. Whoa!
What just happened? Whoa. It looks so great.
So you can imagine all of our little food things out, but we have a little campfire in the middle. I forgot to light the candle. But take out your cast iron and take baskets and line them. Excuse me, I'm choking. The secret to any good buffet is to make sure everything that you put out is very enjoyable at room temperature. Chafing dishes feel like a cafeteria. You don't want to just make everything hot, hot, hot. So if you just have things that you know can sit out for a period of time and everybody's going to enjoy them at that temperature. I make a salmon strudel. It stays out for a long period of time. I make a pasta salad. All things that just are not going to just change their taste. So here we've got the cast iron and the fireplace and different things that feel like you're around the campfire. Do you want to share what we've got right here?
I do, absolutely. Our charcuterie board right here. So delightful. So I feel like it's not a new thing, but it's definitely something that is super popular right now. To do a charcuterie board, to do a grazing table, all really great ideas to do on the holiday. So what we do in our family is we do a Christmas Eve dinner. Because if you have kids, you know that when you're doing the dinner and you have to wait until after dinner to open your presents, it's really a pain in the hiney when we use all the good dishes on Christmas Day and then we gotta wash them all and watch. Jules will tell you. So when we don't do Christmas dinner, we do Christmas Eve dinner. So this stuff is all stuff that we would do on Christmas Day because it's easy, it's picky food, we don't make a huge mess, and we're able to enjoy each other on Christmas Day and kind of none of that like extravagant cleanup that we have for Christmas Eve. So we do that all on Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day we save for just kind of hanging out and the kids can open their gifts and we're just kind of grazing all over with the stuff that we make. Our charcuterie board today was done by the Cheese Diva. You can look her up on Facebook. She's fantastic. Her name is Nikki. Amazing. She does grazing tables. She does the charcuterie boards. So super awesome. She also used pickles from the shop and some cheeses. So all of these things make your Christmas really easy. I don't know if you do like a big dinner on Christmas, but the way that we have done it, yeah. I don't know. It makes for a good
so
good
many
time.
of my Christmases as an adult have been in Georgia. And we grill filet mignons.
Oh. Well, I'm going to find someone I know in Georgia.
I was going to say, I'm going to Georgia.
Down there. Even though around here we can grill.
We could.
It's so warm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, in Pennsylvania today we're like 70. We could go out there in shorts, I swear.
It's Georgia.
It's ridiculous.
So what I have here is a basket just lined with a tea towel. What I would typically put into something like this is I would get little tiny biscuits or Hawaiian.
The King's Hawaiian rolls.
King's Hawaiian rolls?
Oh, yeah.
So any kind of tiny roll. And make up something like sausage, peppers, and onions, but make it really, really tiny. And put the sausage, peppers, and onions in them, and then on their sides, stack them all in.
Ooh.
So anything you can do to help your company to just be able to grab and pull and grab and pull and not make it a process. If you will do a roast beef and make little roast beef sandwiches with a little horseradish sauce next to it, it's perfect. One thing to remember, have a lot of, I didn't bring the whole catering,
Well, we should have.
everything
Because we
today.
could have eaten today,
But,
right now.
Have long handles on your serving pieces. Let them be able to do that. Another great tip is don't put your beverages at your food table because then you've got people reaching in over each other. Have that on a separate side table. And remember, this is the top thing that if you want to be a great hostess, not everyone drinks alcohol. More and more people do not.
She obviously doesn't have this.
Okay,
All her friends are.
Look, I'm in charge of the wine slushies, but so often, I know people that don't drink, and there's not a great option for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go to your grocery store, you might see sparkling cider, sparkling cranberry juice, sparkling grape juice. festive, playful, and the kids can enjoy it too. But you've provided. Always remember that layer. If you want to have, if every one of your friends drinks, go ahead, a beer, wine, and a signature cocktail. You don't have to have an open bar. You're never going to be able to afford to entertain. So tell them, if you've got a special drink you want to drink, you bring it along, but I'm going to have beer, wine, and a cranberry cocktail for Christmas.
Do a Christmas punch. A punch. A punch. My mom does Christmas punch sometimes. It's delicious with some sherbet. You remember that?
Oh.
Ginger ale sherbet.
Oh my god.
Ginger ale
so
sherbet.
Good,
Oh my
right?
goodness.
See? I don't know why you didn't think of that. Why isn't that?
Well, I have my grandmother's punch bowl. We can bring that too.
Let's do that. So let's talk a little bit about Miss Mustard Seed because we did this table which looks stunning in Mora. Mora is from the European collection. Shout out, to those people over there across the pond. I know we have Italy on there.
Oh, yeah.
But so this is Mora. It is a neutral. It's so pretty. So's the table. The top, so the top, Kira forgot that she wasn't supposed to paint the top and ended up putting one coat of Mora on top of there. And she was like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake. But it was a happy mistake.
It was a very happy mistake.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So we dry brushed then the whole entire table. We clear waxed it, and then we put a dark wax over top. So Miss Kathy did this in her last blog post, and you can refer back to there. But what I do when I wax any type of surface is I put a clear wax down first, because that way when you put your dark wax on top of there, you're able to move it around a little bit better as opposed to putting the dark wax on there and it kind of like all of a sudden you get all of this dark and you're not able to kind of move it across across the surface. So it just makes it a little bit easier. So the table turned out amazing. So the top, all that's done is one coat of Mora, clear wax, and then a dark wax on top. And I think it turned out phenomenal. The other difference was these two leaves that we put in here were, I think they were a different wood. Because,
really?
Yeah, because when we put the Mora on top of it, it seemed to like drag up whatever was in that wood, made it react kind of different. So these two boards kind of look severely different.
I love it, yeah.
I love
it.
It's the perfect
So when we put the dark wax on, it kind of like hid all that and just made it like even itself out. So it turned out really awesome. I'm super excited about it.
So when you're doing something like this, one of the things you want to tell yourself, do not do, is when you start to turn your dining room table into a buffet, do not line your chairs up against the wall. Nobody wants to sit like that. Nobody's going to enjoy themselves that way. Create little environments. Go to the thrift shop. Find a little odd and end table. Get some Miss Mustard Seed out. Paint it out. Make it festive. Make it red. You know, a little tricycle on something goes a long way at Christmas time. Grab a bunch of pillows, throw a blanket over them. You got a place to sit. Got a little enamelware like that? What a perfect little plate for dining with. But anything you have that you feel is campfire and outdoors, start your fire in your fireplace. Start your fire pit outside. Get the marshmallows ready and have a very, very Merry Christmas. And one thing to always do, if you look over here, is give takeaways to your friends. Just tell them about what we have here. Oh, she has food in her mouth.
Full of food, really?
We have a very, very talented person here who makes chocolates, and these are hers. K&K Creations, and we have little bags of them for our friends to take home.
Everybody wants to be our friend now.
Everybody's our friend.
Yeah.
And make sure Grandma and Grandpa have a real place to sit. Make a table. They don't want to eat off their lap.
They should have reserved seating.
Something I meant to have out here. I have it in the other room. But tea towels make wonderful napkins when you are entertaining buffet style because people can throw it over their whole lap. And I have a stack of them in the back room.
To do stuff like
the
that.
IKEA ones that are white with the red stripe, 79 cents each. They're perfect, and I buy them by the armfuls when I'm down there, and I use them on my hemp oil. I have my cleaning ones. I've got my entertaining ones.
Take me out there.
I saw that.
All right, so let's do a little recap. As I chew
As you chew.
my cheese shaped.
What should I get to eat?
My charcuterie.
Yeah, whatever you want. Ooh, I love these.
I can't have them. I'm allergic.
Oh,
This is real. This is
What is that?
Yes.
Look at this honey dauber.
Yeah. So our page is Vintage 61 Storehouse. Tori runs that, does an awesome job. Always posts all the new things that we get in here. You can also go on to the
Can I get you something to drink?
Maybe, if you have something.
Do you have any ginger ale sherbet with
Yeah,
sherbet?
sherbet punch would be delightful if anybody wants to bring that over.
I keep thinking that this is an actual like animal.
It is not.
Every time I look down, I'm like, whose dog is this?
That's actually mine.
Yeah, he's a footstool, and
He's a footstool,
Kathy,
yeah.
we brought him in for this, to come out from under the table like a crazy affair.
What do you got?
Ooh, she's like, I'm eating the cake that I just got. So the Cheese Diva, if you're close to us, look her up. She does amazing charcuterie boards and grazing tables. You can book her for bridal showers and weddings and your next birthday party, or just because you want to eat it. Yeah, like whenever. So they're fantastic. She does a great job with presentation, and she also does little boxes and things like that. And then she makes some of this other stuff like this fudge and the truffles and
So
things.
cool.
Yeah, so she's awesome. So if you haven't looked her up by the end of this video, you should basically already have done it.
Other people thought this was a dog too, by the way. I'm not the only one.
Yeah. We'll bring him out.
Okay,
We're
so
both-
the
He's
story,
a footstool.
I love
the story
him.
of him
I
was
love him.
we had a mountain house in the Smoky Mountains that we used to rent all the time with friends, and they had this in the mountain house, and my
He's so
then husband
cute.
surprised me with having one because I walked around cuddling it the entire time.
Well, he's really great.
He is
Yeah,
awesome.
don't throw him so awfully. So the table that we did here is done in Mora, and then like I said, we did the wax on top. So it turned out really awesome. And let's take a trip down the hall, and we'll check out my leaf that hopefully is dried, so I can show you what a second coat looks like.
I'm coming.
Right? Okay, good. I was hoping
I got lost.
it was going to be super awkward. So obviously, maybe we took a little bit more time. This is all dry. So another trick that I do, buy yourself a box fan. If it's something that you do all the time, or you want to do all the time, a box fan is an easy. The other bag that I opened and put the paint in, it was totally the same color, just needed to settle a little bit. If you watch this all the way through. So this is dried. Looks fantastic. I even finished the metal sides. When you're doing a table, be very conscious when you're going and doing the leaves and where the leaves meet, because you don't want to get a lot of paint in there, because then when you go to put it back together with the leaves in it, it's going to leave these big gaps. And also when you have things like this that go into the table, your leaves normally have like these little pegs or whatever you want to call them. If you gunk them all up with paint, never going to go back together right. So just be aware when you're painting not to get all that stuff all gunked up. So mixed up. If you leave your brush, and it's a little kind of, maybe a little stiff, this isn't, but I always like bang my brush and it like makes it right back to.
That's what Bob Ross does when he
Does he?
when he cleans out his brushes and he smacks it on his easel and he says that he's smacking the devil out of it.
Oh, well, I don't believe the devil was in my brush, but it does make it back to super nice and smooth, so I can continue painting my leaf at the table. Tori, always with some really good, useful tips. So as you can see, second coat, awesome. This is going to be done after the second coat. It's making a little noise, okay, guys? I don't know what to tell you. It's unruly. But it looks amazing. Does everybody remember what color we used on this? This is like a quiz at the end of the video. This is Layla's Mint. And it's such a great green. It's that soft. This would be great for like a bathroom.
It used to be that before people really found out what the sex of the baby is going to be,
Green.
this would be a nursery.
Now we
Very
don't.
neutral.
Nobody has patience. I mean, it's not. But the
I
green,
didn't know what my son was going to be,
Aw.
and his room was in this color.
it's a great color, and it's a great color for that. It's such a. It's almost like a neutral. It's so light. And then, like I said, when you're doing anything like this, like a tabletop or anything, the top of a dresser, going over it in these like long strokes to kind of get everything
And you know what?
cohesive makes it super nice. So just keep that in mind. Because if you're starting, stopping, and then you really do have that unevenness of that start and stop through your whole entire piece. Not that you can't stand back a little and even it out, but if you're doing that right off the bat with those long strokes and getting the tops of things really nice and smooth, highly recommend.
And from a more mature perspective, look at how amazing that looks together.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love.
Could you just picture a tablescape with those colors
Oh
in
my
it?
gosh, that's gorgeous.
Yes, the dark wood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. What table could we paint, Kathy? Quick,
Yeah.
find something.
I'll find something.
Something we can do. So super awesome. Let's recap just a smidge. So anybody that's just joining us, this is Layla's mint that we used. Comes in these little pouches. So we do a scoop of powder to a scoop of water, and then when we add our bonding agent in, it's always those added together. So if I did 1 and 1, you would put 2 scoops of bonding agent in the piece, in your paint, so that it adheres to whatever it is that you're doing. You're not going to get any of that chipping and flaking. So just remember when you're doing a piece to take a look at it and see where you're at. When you have that old wood or you have something that's raw wood, you're not going to need to add that bonding agent in there. But when you have pieces that are super slick from the 80s, or this Formica glass, metal, plastic, you're going to want to add that bonding agent in there if you don't want it to chip and flake. And then on the table, I had done the Ultra Grip on top of there, and these are my favorite. I don't know, they're kind of cinnamony, so highly recommend. So that's what we did on top of this table. And like I said, I sanded back.
I'd like to point out that the marshmallows and those are now missing from the table, and I'm sure everyone's up at the counter eating them.
Absolutely.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, nobody is doing that. Nobody is doing that.
No one.
So this is the end. This is where we're leaving
Yeah.
everyone.
Well, let's go back into the dining room.
We can. Do you want to sit down
Yeah.
and eat? We could go get our charcuterie board and sit.
Our shark.
Oh, sorry, Tori time. So I just thought I'd like leisurely lay it
Just
down.
throw it in.
See who was gonna pick
Coochie
it up.
Mama
So obvious.
Did you notice you have a giant candy cane? Because this is
Yeah, this is really great. I mean, I don't like
adults.
candy canes, but if I did, this would be super awesome.
Well, you would just be forced to take it home if you came to my house.
Well, now
I
you.
would be. And
Well,
then
if
I
you
would-
don't want to eat it, you can bother the person next to you with it.
That's right. They are weapons. And if you suck on it long enough, it's a dagger. But I don't
Yeah,
want
if there's any
candy prison.
intruders on Christmas, watch out.
Home Alone, it happens.
It does totally happen. I just watched that. The second one. The second one, Home Alone 2.
Oh, you never
So
saw it
good.
before?
No, I did.
Okay.
But I mean, I just watched it like
Is
as
that the one
in.
in New York?
Yes.
Lost in New York.
Yes.
Do you
So
like
good.
the house that the uncle is getting
Yes.
renovated? Do you know how many millions and millions and
Oh,
millions of dollars that
yeah. I love when he goes in the front door and like he doesn't see the big hole and he just falls down. I'm like, how does that even? What kind of vision do you have to have? But anyway. So we are actually going to go live on our Facebook page. If you want to jump over to Vintage 61 Storehouse, we have a couple things to share around the shop. So if you want to join us over there and like our page, that would be super awesome. We are always happy to be on Miss Mustard Seeds Milk Paint page, and we always have a great time. And I hope that you guys all enjoyed our tablescapes and the colors that we used on the tables. This was ironstone, remember? It's a very clean white, I feel
Very
like.
clean. I love it.
Yeah, so I feel like it goes with anything. And like the cushions that we redid for the chairs. When you're doing whites, Miss Kathy says, you can mix your whites. It doesn't have to
Yes.
be an exact match. So that's another tone of a neutral there, and it looks awesome. Miss Lori painfully made those stripes. Painstakingly. That sounds better.
Yeah.
Did those lines on there to get them even on every chair. I didn't want that job. I was like, Lori, don't you like to cover things?
She said yes.
Yes, I
Then
do.
she said no.
Yeah. Well, she did an awesome job. Old records, please go to your local thrift store.
Oh, what fun that is. And things like this are just great to create conversation. Imagine walking into someone's house, you're a guest, and they've got this in the middle of the table.
I would be
Another
all
thing to
about it.
do is not make your centerpieces so tall that you don't have a sight line to everyone. You don't want to be talking
Although
to
if
somebody
you don't
like
want to
this.
see Uncle Frank,
Yeah.
put a big
Well,
Santa there.
I got it.
Then you just block Uncle
You
Frank.
just put something big there. It's totally fine. So hopefully you get to see us more often
Yeah.
and jump on over to our page and see what we have going on in the store.
One more thing I wanted to say.
What? Oh my dear
We're
Lord.
talking about family getting together and friends getting together. There's always somebody. I'm gonna get choked up. There's always
God.
somebody that doesn't have a place to go.
Okay,
Always invite that person.
that's very sweet.
That is very sweet.
I'm choked up. But look at me.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna be able to deal with her. A big shout out to one of our girls here at the store. It's Mrs. Vala's birthday today.
That's
Yes,
right.
it is.
Yeah, 15. So happy birthday. She's my daughter. So happy birthday to her. And hopefully all of you wish her a big happy birthday. 15. Ugh, I don't love it. But we had a great time today, and I hope that's evident through our videos because it's always a good time. This family, I don't know, some days. And don't just do family. We do a friends Christmas where we all get together. So like Kathy said, invite those people that don't have a place to go and hang out with your friends. It's not just about, hanging out with Uncle Frank, that you see once a year, So invite everybody and include your kids and do all those things and make all these things special because they do remember it. My kids are big on tradition, so all of those things are super important. All right, we love you all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.